Hi guys, coming at you live from Louisville, Kentucky. It's a Red Baron 59, and today I'm excited to bring you what is definitely, in my opinion, my best gameplay to date, and a quick little commentary on the creative class. I'm not really sure how to add a thumbnail yet with that. I need to do some research and figure it out, but what I used for this video is low profile, blind eye, toughness, and blast suppressor. The reason why I choose this setup is obviously there's a lot of support streaks in this game, and one thing I've talked about before that I really hate, Sledgehammer has restricted your class setup more than any other COD has ever done so. Actually, I didn't use blast suppressor. I used toughness and scavenger, and I went ahead and used system hack. I was just trying to get a decent gameplay, and it ended up working out my favor. I think 54-0 in this with the DNA. Anyway, as far as why I chose to use that though, blind eye is to prevent anybody from killing me with support care packages. I got into a pretty nice lobby and had an opportunity to get this, and one thing I noticed is that noobs will use support streaks. Even vet players in this game use support streaks, and you're talking about obviously the support care package, which almost, I mean, 50% of the time guarantees them at least. I don't use the thing, so I don't know. But it seems like about 50% of the time they get a warbird, or an assault drone, or a disable exo system hack, or they get a paladin, any number of those things. Paladin, because you're not safe from the paladin with blind eye anyway, but you're safe from at least most of those other AI control streaks, and some of them aren't AI, so, you know, it's still a gamble. You never really know. I've been knocked off so many streaks by their, support care packages, and so I've kind of learned my lesson about that, and have started using blind eye. I play this really nice with this guy. You're teaming up too, like that. And anyway, though, that's why I choose to use this support set, this setup, and I used for this the UAV with threat detection, extra time, and speed. I think it's critical for getting any kind of gameplay like this. It really helps you a lot when you're trying to figure out where you are. As you can see, I mean, it's like almost every second it's showing you like every page many maps. You just kind of watch for glowing red bodies as they pop up. For my system hack, as you can see, I used disable exo and shoot devil at 10 times. I think that was supposed to be about 40 seconds where they can't jump. And I used the warbird, but I kind of decided not to call my warbird in too much because I realized I was getting pretty close to the DNA, and the time was running a little slow. And the way I chose to play OBJ in this game was I did Captify a few times, but I thought the best way to get this done was to kind of try to keep them in B because I'm playing solo. I didn't want to have to deal with people being in a lot of unpredictable places, so I kind of kept killing them off with this flag until my team could cap both A and C. And I just chose to, from that point, spend my time defending the flags, doing my best to hold it. And there's a couple of times where I probably should have died. I ended up getting really lucky. I didn't even realize that, I was going to end up going flawless. So this game wasn't really a plan of mine. It just ended up working out that way. It was really nice. And I hope that you guys enjoy the gameplay. I don't really have too much else to say about it, but a quick thing that I did want to talk about was my excitement for November and a lot of the games that will be coming out. As many of you probably know, DICE, the makers of Battlefield 3 and 4, and well, as far as I know, all previous Battlefield games, correct me if I'm wrong on this in the comment section down below, because I'm pretty new to the Battlefield franchise. I pretty much started playing with Battlefield 4. I played Battlefield 3 a few times, but it just wasn't really viable on console. As far as this game though, I'm really not sure what the future of the Battlefield franchise is. I'm assuming Visceral is going to be taking it over. They are going to have a lot to learn. Hardline has got a lot of problems, and I'm not going to be too harsh on them about that, as it is their first game that they've made a major title. Although I wish in the future that when game developers choose to give the reins of a well-known and established franchise to a not well-known and unestablished gaming development firm, that they would, maybe spend more time advising them on how to make the game, overseeing it just a little bit more to prevent a lot of unnecessary mistakes. If you guys have Hardline, then you know that playing any other game other than Conquest is a nightmare. The spawns are atrocious in Team Deathmatch. It's like playing Call of Duty Ground War on crack. I mean, they've never had a 32-on-32 team deathmatch before, and the maps are smaller than they were in BF4 in general. Even the Conquest maps are sometimes as small as some of the Domination maps. I'm not a big fan of several of the maps in that, but I am really excited to see what they're going to do with Star Wars Battlefront, although I'm a little nervous because they haven't even talked about a Jedi type game mode. they haven't really talked about the single player at all, which is one of the things that made Battlefront stand out, was its incredible story campaign. And it had a very revolutionary, multiplayer for its time, and I'm kind of confused as to why they would, as far as they've said, focus solely on the infantry combat and completely abandon the space combat. Because again, that's like one of the things that made Battlefront, for those of us from the older school of gaming, an incredible game. If you're not familiar with it, Battlefront 2 came out in 2002 on PS2 and was amazing. It had, space combat, it had infantry combat, it had a very detailed and well-developed story plot. It was from, I would say, the golden age of LucasArts Studios, when they were making incredible games like KOTOR 2 and 1. They made that, what was it, I can't remember the name of the game that came out earlier on PS2. I really should brush up on some of the names of these games, but I grew up on the early era of LucasArts games and many other that same era. And I'm excited to see what they're going to do. I mean, DICE has the potential to put out a really good game, but I'm also curious as to why they're limiting it to 20 on 20. But just let me know what you guys have thought of what they've had to say about Battlefront so far to this point. I'm curious what you guys think about it. Do you think they're going to do a good job? Do you think it's a good company to hand the reins of that franchise to? Do you think that reviving this is going to be a good idea, or that it's going to be a flop? I wonder what you think too about them not talking about the story campaign, about abandoning space combat, so far not even talking about the Jedi on Jedi. Basically the super characters game mode they had on PS2. Because it was actually like Boba Fett and Han Solo and Jango Fett and all the other different characters as well that were just considered, hallmark super characters of the Star Wars franchise. And this is the Red Baron 59 signing off. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe if you've never been to the channel before. I've got some really nice gameplays coming up to post. I'm going to try to start getting some more unique gameplays too. I'm not really sure what I'm going to start with. You guys have a great afternoon.